Hello, good evening, and a very warm welcome to Rangers Radio.
Well, good evening and welcome to Rangers Radio. Tonight I've been joined by the Marx Brothers, that's Harpo and Groucho, more commonly known as Port Bear, GB and Bridgeman. Evening, gentlemen. Evening, Port.
Very good.
Evening, mate. Good to be on, mate. Aye, another interesting week of football and news in terms of, the Rangers, and I'm looking forward to chatting to you guys about it.
Evening, GB.
Good evening, boys. Pleasure to be on tonight. And thanks for that introduction, Ox. That's the three tenors.
Used to haven't got a clue. The only one that got that gag was Bridgeman. Evening, Bridge.
Oh, good evening, Ox, yeah. And GB and, of course, the wonder kid from Greenock. Oh, Port Glasgow. What can I say? The magic. I'm really looking forward to the crack, and it's going to be really nice. Can I just say, but a big good evening to the techie boys in the background, and to all the Rangers fans that are listening in all over the world. Good evening. Welcome to Rangers Radio.
How's GB?
I'm good here. Can't complain. Good to see us back to winning ways, mate. It was a bit nail biting, but overall happy with the Rangers and happy with life, mate.
Happy with life. Port Bear, happy with life.
Listen to him. Aye, he's a good lad, mate. He's a good lad. Aye, all the best, guys, mate. All the best.
Yeah. Listen, you're right. GB was the vintage match. I think we've talked it to death. It was all about the result. We got it. We were building up to a big game on Saturday. Was it midnight, 11:45 or something? The game, a horrendous kick-off time, But we've now started. We kind of look back. We've got to look forward. GB.
Yep, Ox. Other results have blown it wide open again. Didn't see it coming, Ox. Didn't see that. And you've actually advocated it, saying that there was got to be more drop points and stuff like that. But I honestly thought after the earlier game with Celtic and stuff like that in the league that was kind of us on the path of the trying to see out the season as best we could, kind of thing. And now again, Ox. Big opportunity. We got to some win. You're saying about the weekend, massive game, always is against Aberdeen. They always seem to bring out their one game a year against us. And like you says, mate, you would think it would be an abroad, like a game playing in the USA by the time that we're kicking off it. But it's just important now. The players have had plenty of opportunity, Ox. We've been let back in a couple of times now. Other teams have grasped it at the moments that we've kind of know, and I think this is hopefully now, Ox, that as a team we've just really got to take this opportunity again, Ox. We've been getting the doors have been opened up again, mate, and I just really hope that the players just go and grasp it, go and grab this. It's there to be taken, Ox. It just needs somebody to have a bit of consistency at the end of the season, and I think they'll do it, mate. But it all starts with, like you said, mate, a massive game at the weekend.
Aye, it's a big game. It's all but winning Port Bear. That's where the excitement comes from.
100%. Just to echo what Gary says, mate, the Hearts result just played into absolutely everything we need. I mean, that, as Gary said, it's blew the tap right off it again. Effectively, results go away again. Rangers can go tap again. That's how mental the season's going to be. And like we said on the show for the previous few Thursdays, mate, it's been there's going to be drop points. I still believe, there's even after the split, there'll still be teams taking points off each other. Pre-split, there's still clubs fighting for their lives. There's clubs trying to get into the top six. So there's teams out there, mate, that have got and basically it's necessary for them to either get a result to stay up, get into the top six, try and finish in a European position. So they're all fighting for something, mate. It's not just about surviving in the Scottish League. It's about, they've got their own, garden to look after if they want. They don't care about Rangers and Celtic and Hearts. These teams are all trying to keep their own garden rosy and get results for themselves for all different reasons. So that's the beauty of the league at times. And a lot of people don't like the split. A lot of people do like it, but it does throw a curveball, especially when you're trying to fight to get in the top six or stay in it, or as I said, try and get European places or close out a title, mate. And now the gauntlet's been thrown down to Rangers again.
My problem with the split, Port Bear, is the integrity of it. Every season there are anomalies, and I don't think that's right. I think a league should be based on everything being equal.
Aye, 100% agree with you, mate. As we know, there's been games that have been played out just to stop other teams, getting the result that was needed. I totally agree with you on that, mate. But we've just got to go and think about us, Oxford. Get everybody else at your head. We just have to think about Rangers. They have to think about their own selves as well. And we just need to, as we all say, go and win the next game, because we're down to 8 now. We get up there again one of our biggest rivals. They'll be new manager bound, Stephen Robinson. That boy's had a few good comments after our panelists on the show at times, because he's done a good job since his time in Scotland. Probably gets the biggest job he's had now at Aberdeen, and it won't be easy, Oxford. It won't be easy, but we just have to concentrate on us. And were we dying against it, man? We were, and we missed a few chances. But the most important thing at the end of the game was that we got the win. And that, Walter Smith won games like this throughout his whole career, through the 9 in a row. Horrible looking to watch, horrible games to watch. But at the end of the day, there was a W and 3 points at the end of these games. And if that's the way it's got to be, mate, till the end of the season, as long as we win the league, I couldn't care how we win it, mate, as long as we win.
I get that. Big game Saturday night. Looking forward to it. This is what we're all about. It's a business end of the season.
Yeah, look, they're coming to, for me anyway, the next 3 games are the biggest for me. The last 5, well, we'll know where we are and what we've got to do to make it. We must win these 3 games, in my opinion. It's only my opinion here. So if anybody wants to phone in and tell me I'm lying, then try it. But as far as I'm concerned, these next 3 games, and of course the one on Saturday night, it's the biggest game of the season so far for me. This is massive, and we know how well we play against Aberdeen, and sometimes we don't play well, and sometimes we don't get what we want. But I think we're up for it. I think the team's up for it. The players are up for it. If only they can keep it going, their good parts, get the good parts going, and once you get that going and play 20 minutes, 30 minutes, playing the way we can play, then the confidence builds and the players are quite happy to stand. So put a foot on the ball and move it the way they not under pressure, but the way they want to do it. That's what I'd like to see the Rangers doing. But absolutely massive game coming up, massive.
Listen, in my humble opinion, will count for anything. But I plea for the support. Let's get behind the team. We've all got our issues with A, B, and C. But let's get behind the team, take one game at a time, starting this Saturday. We've done it before. We rallied the Hearts game, and the atmosphere at the place was electric and helped drive us out with a decent victory. Let's do it again. Take this one and the next one, and all of a sudden there's only maybe 6 to go, and we can maybe cheer us on to victory in the league title. Is that fair, GB?
Very, mate, very. I mean, I'm one of their biggest critics, mate. You know me, like most weeks I come on, I'm so much moaning, just disappointed. You know what I mean? And
You know how Mrs. GB feels.
Aye. Don't I know it, mate? Okay, tell every 3 weeks, mate.
Actually, Port Bears told us about your moaning as well. So.
I know that poor man, that bad, having to listen to me. Anyway, no, I think we what happened at the weekend, Ox, and we knew like before, I've always felt as though that it was always with foot. It wasn't in touching distance. But the way the table's looking now, Ox, you're right, mate. We, as a support, we just have to go for it now. We need to get behind it. It might be squeaky bum a lot of the games. It might be St Mirren. We may be watching St Mirren games the rest of the season, mate. And we'll not be happy. Well, we'll be happy with the result, but we won't be happy watching it. We'll be nervous as hell. But Ox, we just need to stick with it. And by the way, you think about it, probably short memories. Think back to even the run-in for 55, Ox. How nervous were we in some of the games against Motherwell at home? That one that we needed Drifty.
That finished the 7th of February, that title or something like that, mate.
I know, but remember those key games where we were like sitting 0-0 with like 5 minutes to go and all that, and we knew that.
It's on mental. Let me just check you out. Carry on, GB. I'm just going to check you out.
You're right, Ox. We've already won it by now when it was 55, mate. But there was games like we knew up at Livingston and stuff like that. We just had to go out and secure it. And like it says, the Motherwell game that sticks in my head. The one at home when Ruth and the big Swiss boy came on and secured the game for us. That was a big moment as well. So like come this weekend, Bridge says, as Bridge said, that these games sometimes against Aberdeen we don't play well. But one thing it does fling up in these Aberdeen games is there's sometimes surprise performers. We've had Asgard, who ends up having a man-in-match performance. We've had my very own Brajami have an amazing game against them out the blue as well. So again, there's opportunities there, Ox, for folk to step up to the mark and get us a win, mate.
So I said February, 7th of March. Sorry, I was a bit premature with the 7th of February. You know, but look, is that fair? Let's get behind the team. Let's get behind them.
Again, mate, it's like I've always shown here. It's the 12th man. You know, there's nothing better than playing in front of any crowd that are buzzing and they're behind you. But it's a two-way street, mate. In my opinion, players have to give us something to lift us. Whether it be a winger, take on a defender and go and expose the defender, or getting a goal, or providing an assist, or a centre midfielder crunching at a tackle. A big Chermiti, another overhead kick would be lovely. But these are the sort of moments that will lift the crowd, mate. And if the crowd get lifted and the team carry the crowd with them, it's a different atmosphere to play in, mate. Whereas if you turn that on its head and you're playing and the game's turgid and you're struggling and it's chance after chance and we need end product, it seems to be a problem lately, isn't it? It's we are making chances, we're creating chances for set pieces, etc. But we're just not converting anything. Again, a lot of no creativity and no finishing the midfield and no finishing for our forwards, mate. So these guys have to lift it for the next 8 games. They really have to lift, their performances and go and show us that they can get this league and go and win it, mate. But they have to give us something. They have to. Sorry to say, the crowd's a 12th man and they'll do a great job in terms of lifting the team. But they have to go and lift the crowd, mate. Because if you're playing, the crowd's on your back and they're all nervous, that feeds onto the pitch, mate. I don't care what you say, as much as they can lift you. The nervousness and the crowd being restless affects, in my opinion, it affects the team, mate. And I know what I'd prefer to play in front of.
Aye, but I'm just saying that before the day anything on the pitch, let's get behind the team, let's get them on the pitch, let's get them started.
Oh, sorry. Aye, 100%, mate, definitely. Yeah.
I get it that the tempo of the game and how the game goes can affect the crowd. I understand that fully, but I said, but let's get behind the team, let's take it what we can do, let's do what we can do, Bridge.
Yeah, absolutely. I would hope that the fans are well up for it. They know the position we're in the league, and we've got 8 games to go, so they should be following all the way through and giving the team all the back in the can. We'll get 2 home games coming up, if my memory serves me right, and we should be, well, obviously with a bit of luck that we require, we should be getting our own luck, and we should be beating these teams. But they need the fans. You're absolutely right, Oxley. We need the fans to start singing their song and sing their hearts out and go for it. because we're there, we're in amongst it, and there's not very many teams are going to be in amongst it come after the 6th game. You might only find there's only 2 teams in it, simple as that. But we want to be one of them, and we want to be at the top, and that's what we're looking for. Go out and do your business, boys. The fans just keep it going for them.
I hear you. Right, gentlemen, we get the phone lines open, yeah?
Yep, mate, sounds good.
Yeah. Let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
I'm going to take a wee step back here, lads. What Ben and GB were having quite a discussion before the show started about Kevin Thirlwell. Yes, they didn't think I was listening, did you, boys?
Oops.
No.
Step up, mate. You take anchor.
Bridgeman, schoolboy era.
I believe it.
Well, if they thought you weren't listening, don't call you big ears for nothing, I'll tell you.
Right, I think he's got a point he's wanting to make. Portberg, you can go first, then GB.
No, I need to back that to my mucker, mate. He brought it up to me, so I was only I was answering the question they asked, mate. So GB, the floor is yours, my man.
You were only participating in the action, mate.
Really well
That's all you're
done,
doing.
well done.
Nice wee sidestep. No, Ox, it was just Port was talking about the transfer rumour with Fernandez and stuff like that, and the kind of money that usual that's getting touted for him, and he's only been on the park 2 minutes. Don't get me wrong, big man's had a decent season. But then it kind of triggered me to think, well, who actually was who was involved in that signing, and who touted for him, and we're all shouting that he was absolutely immense and stuff like that. And then it triggered the next one was, I can remember us all shouting about Chimete and how he was mincing a wasting money. And then when you start going through the signings, Ox, like, you start to realise that Kevin Thirlwell, I think, will be sitting in the house pretty smirky now, because there's a few of them. Even I was saying to Port there, even the Romance one, that was already in the pipeline, and Thirlwell had a say in that and all. He was in the talks with our ex-coach about that. So by the time it came to the January transfer window, that motion was already that motion was already in motion. So and even the player himself in his interview talked about that, how he was getting in contacted months before the January transfer window. So that was still when Thirlwell was kicking about. So when you look at it, Oxley, overall, I think he's definitely had a couple of failures, but as it stands now, I mean, it's kind of like hands there the eyes a wee bit, because most of these signings are contributing to this season, mate, under a decent manager.
Let's go through them then. So he brought in defenders. He brought in Max Aarons, De Giga, Fernandez, Magoma, Cornelius.
Yep.
Oh,
I forgot that one.
I'll leave you two to rate them.
Aye, well, I mean, you're go with Max Aarons. Actually, let's start there, because that's a good one to start with, because it was one of you touties for me.
It was, mate. It was. I was very excited about the signing of Max Aarons. Seen him as the heir to the throne of James Tavernier. You know, I thought that was the guy that was going to replace him, and if all went well, I thought, you know, we could maybe possibly sign him with the investment we've got for 49ers. But he's come up the road, mate. With a decent transfer fee and a bit of pedigree. England under 23s winning their sort of version of the World Cup for them. So I was very excited, mate, and he has been a massive failure, unfortunately. But yeah, I can't put it any other way. He's so far from first team football at Rangers. That's him what new, even behind Tab. So you've got Sterling, Tab, and Aarons, whatever his name. But he's a failure for me, mate.
The Giga, GB.
Sorry, mate.
That's all right. GB.
Well, Jaeger again started off not too bad, then went a wee bit off the boil. But like I say, overall throughout the season, you could say he's a pass mark and been a decent loan signing so far. I mean, the two old firms there recently, he's been solid. And I mean, if he keeps up that kind of form, I wouldn't be shy and go and champ the door again and get him for another loan, mate.
I just want to whisper in your ears. I don't think he played in the first one, mate.
No, he didn't actually. Didn't know.
All right. I
But
mean,
he's played two, hasn't he?
He's getting better and better
Mhm.
and better as the season went on. I thought he was man of the match away at Liverpool, and arguably, he was our best player last weekend. Yeah, maybe the last 2 weekends. So he was very young for that position, Bridgeband, but he looks as if he's improving. And that pace that he's got is always a big asset, Bridge. Yeah?
Oh, aye, absolutely. Better believe it. I think some of the players that the boys were speaking about earlier, I think most of the Rangers fans admire these players and what they've done for us. Giga, you were talking about him a minute ago, he is pretty fast. And so is the big twin centre half. They're pretty fast guys. Just imagine when Fernandes actually grows up. He's only a youngster, really, My goodness gracious, he's going to be formidable. Sorry, Oxia.
Aye. The Giga, that's a big asset, real pace at the back. What better?
Aye, and both of them, Giga and Fernandes, have got pace to burn, mate. I mean, it'll always get you out of trouble. It'll always get you, if you make a mistake, your pace will always get you out of trouble. Calvin Bassey was, famous for it in the early days when, the mistakes were, and he was still quite raw, Bassey. His pace always seemed to get him out of trouble. He'd always have a second chance to catch them and, chase them down and win his second tackle and get, oftenly got the ball. So, aye, mate, yeah, I think in terms of Giga, I'd be looking to sign him, mate, if I'm honest. So I think he's been a hit for me. And I would be looking to, depending on what happens with Wolves, if they get relegated, they might see him as a big part for the Championship with him. But if they see want to play Championship football, that'll be remain to be seen. But if we could get him back, mate, whether it's signing him permanently or another loan, I wouldn't be opposed to having Giga back at the club, because I think, like we touched on, he's a flyer to the start of his career at Rangers. With, he's walking about with his slippers on, and then he had that sort of dip in form where he was looking really, really ropey and really, really dodgy. He went away to African nations, seemed to build his confidence back up again, and since he came back in, and I know it took him a while because Suter was back at team at that point, but since he's got his chance, in my opinion, he's made Suter number 3 choice again. So he's really, and he's developing a partnership alongside Big Fernandes, mate, which is two defenders of Bridgeman's sort of stature, big, tall, fast. That's all Bridgeman's ever asked for on here. So, they're definitely a pairing, mate, that excite me. And the fact that you touched on, very, very, don't mean as a bad way, but immature in terms of centre half development. Because we always say that, centre half people develop a lot later in their career. You don't get better.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question here? What do we reckon, Giga, if we were going to try and sign him? What do you reckon he's going to cost us?
I think a lot of that depends if Wolves go down or no, mate.
Aye.
Wolves go down, they might have a fire sale, and it might be easier to do business for them. Because they might get people off their books and bring in cash because the mental of that set up. So that's a big question, because obviously if they stay up, which I think is highly unlikely, but they have came with some good form. They're not a worst form team in that league.
No,
you're right there. You're right there.
But so we'll assume they get relegated. There's a potential that maybe, I think they've spent about 10 on him plus decent wages. It might be that his wages might be the scare, but I would say maybe about 8 to 10. Would that be fair?
Aye, I was going to say 10, mate, but I mean, I would happily pay pay 10 for him, mate, because I think it's got the old try before you buy in it. We've seen him, we know what he's capable of, and you know, even in Europe at times they look very decent, mate. What I like about him and Fernandes is they're comfortable on the ball as well, mate. They're an asset in each box. They've got pace, and I'll tell you, every team in Europe would love to have centre backs like that, especially young centre backs like that. And if Gia comes here permanent and takes his game in at another level, which he could do, by the way, which he could do. And remember, when we fully invest in our team in the summer, he's going to be better players about him, which will lift him again. So, you know, the zeros will only add to Fernandes and Giga if we can get him on a permanent deal, mate. So, as I said, for me, it's a no-brainer. It would give a good foundation for the start of for next season. And now you'll be looking to days, maybe if you can add better quality than them two, then great. But if you can even add similar, you know, quality at similar age, you know, or maybe a bit of quality, but you know, maybe at a more advanced age, you know, maybe somebody 25 plus to, you know, help these young guys develop at a club. Not that I'm saying they need it, they're developing quite fine under whoever's there at the moment, but I just think, mate, it's a no-brainer for me to try and get to retain the two of them. I know Fernandes is yours, but it'd be great if we could retain Giga, mate, to be Fernandes's, you know, partner in crime, because they excite me to them, mate.
I would think none of us were saying that about the Giga prior to New Year, mate. He's come back to the AFCON and he's looked assured, mate. Can I just give a shout to Dougie the Bear? Dougie's had a day at home recuperating, and we just hope the Strawberry Blonde kid's okay. Big shout out to Dougie the Bear.
Here.
Well said. Big hand out for the big boy. Well done, Dougie.
Yes. Look, left back, we'll not take Romans, obviously, because he's come in later on. You never know if he maybe looked earlier. But Goma, I'll give you my take on it. I think Goma's done all right. Just Romans has come in and looks a step up, and that's no slight on the boy. Goma is a young man that's come in. At times he's shown up, some of the experienced pros. Is there a finished article, GB? No, he's not. Was his defending great? No. But he's shown a great attitude, and I think the boy's got something about him. Now, if he does leave and we part ways with him, I wish him all the best for the future, mate.
Well said, Ox. Magoma, he's come in, been professional, Ox. He's contributed to the team. He's scored a fantastic goal as well. That one for outside the box that he rattled in. And that was, again, by the way, if we go on to win this league, that'll be one of the games we'll look back and going, just as well he battered that in the back of the net, that game, because that one is a game.
GB, it was 2 each at Tannadice when he scored that goal, mate.
Got his a point then.
You're having a mare.
I'm just praising him at Hillwalks. You accept this positivity I've got on tonight. No, well, anyway, that shot that he scored that got as a point, you never know how important that's got to be now. But again, I'm talking about contributing to the team, being professional. He's got all the pass marks, Ox. And do you know something? See, if we had an open checkbook and we could afford all this kind of talent, which probably we could in the future. But like, what a pairing that would be. And to have your backup, you've got Romans and you've got young Magoma, because then you've got that Magoma just nice and steady developing in the background. He's easy, like as he's been coming on for Romans, he's still been assured. He's no been one that's cost the game or anything like that. And it would just be the perfect weekend of partnership. You'll not have an unhappy player because the boy would know he's young and he's still in his development. And then you've got your main starter in Romans most weeks. You know what I mean? And he can rest as is. So if you could keep that Ox, that would be amazing. But overall, for just Magoma on his own, he's been a pass mark under Farewell's scouting market, mate.
Aye. Right, so we move into midfield. Obviously, Lyle Cameron we won't touch on because he was brought in by the previous regime. So we brought in Asgard. Another midfielder. And the rest of them are forward players. Well, I missed anybody.
Well, Well, no, not really, Ox, because like you say,
No.
Moore's an attacker.
Ant-Man's an attacker, Gasserman's an attacker, Chermiti, Mariovsky. Yeah, so we'll take Asgard. Right, who wants to start? Port Bear.
As much as it frustrates me, mate, you look at the lad and you see what he done for the game, for Norway, Norway international. His attributes as in terms of physicality, big lump of a boy, great touch. We know he's got magic in his boots when in glimpses, but we've just not seen enough. And I don't know if that's due to his form and the manager not trusting him and not picking him, or is it him? It's hard for me, mate. So far, he's a miss for me. He's a miss, but I'm hoping he comes good, mate. And there's other players that we've just spoke about have turned their seasons round. He's not yet. I'm just hoping he's on a long contract, mate. So he has to show up next season, or he'll not be there. It's simple as that. But he's a miss from me, the new mate, which is frustrating.
I don't see anything else but a miss. I mean, he's gave us some wonderful moments.
Yep.
That goal against the D United was just unbelievable. And the free kick he scored against, I'm going to say, was that Queen's Park in the Cup or Hull? I can't remember. Whatever the cup type was.
It was 8-0 game, wasn't it?
No, he scored they wouldn't matter who the opposition was. The free kick was it? But in open play, I'll be honest, I think he's been very, very poor. GB, then Bridge.
Aye, for Oxford, again, because he's probably shot himself in the foot with showing his talent. You know what I mean? Because we've seen it, we can see what he can do, and then he gives you the games where there's just nothing there. He's just a passenger throughout the game, and then like say the old firms there, we're needing moments. We're needing guys to come off the bench and do something. And again, he was just another player that came on and was just another jersey. I mean, and he's got the talent there to grab a ball and, like you say, put it in the top corner. I just don't know what it is. The new one. I'm like Port. Like, I really hope it comes good for him, because I think if it did, then we've got a right good asset on us there. But I don't know if he'll get the time, Ox. I think if he continues this type of form, then it's something like in the summer he'll end up being one of these guys that will get put out on loan to see if he'll develop himself. You mean? And you know where that leads? That ends up leading you out the door, doesn't it?
Listen, mate, I would even bother me if we could move him on. I would accept it. Bridgman.
Yeah, I quite like him. I quite liked him, and he looked as if he's going to do something for us. I don't know whether he get any knocks. Maybe you guys could tell us if he was out injured for a wee while or something. But it's like he stepped out, looked good for a few minutes or whatever, and then just seemed to stick in the team. No actually doing anything. Apart from, I think he got 2 or 3, maybe 3 goals. But certainly 2 of them were absolutely brilliant goals. One of them in particular, an absolute screamer. But he has, overall, I think he's been a major disappointment because the publicity we got when he got coming in, he's going to turn our team around and so on and so forth. Well, I'm afraid it's falling apart for him in that respect. But again, I say, it might be through an injury there, a wee knock or a couple of wee knocks. And sometimes when you get these 2 or 3 knocks in a row, you just can't recover properly. Your body kind of gets time to do it. But that's the only thing I think about him. For the size and his stature, I think GB was saying, somebody standing there over 6 feet tall, maybe 6'2", and a good build on him. And he looks weak sometimes. And that's, the Rangers fans don't want to see weakness like that. Not for a big fella. They don't want that.
What about?
See, can I ask you guys, do you think he's been given a fair crack? He's been given a fair crack and running the team?
Handsome. I think he's not grasped his opportunities. When he started, he's been poor. He had a run. He obviously got the goal against the T United. He got the header against. Got to say St Mirren.
I was going to say
he's not grasped his opportunities, mate. You can see that he's got ability. But you need more an ability to A, to play in this league, and B, to play in your team, GB.
Aye, Ox, you need a bit of digger, but you need to be able to do what Mikey Moore's done a lot of times, grab the ball and run at players and take them on and make somebody make a mistake, Ox. You've got to have that. I mean, let's face it, the amount of crunching tackles Mikey Moore's had to take, we trying to take the ball and do something. Like, fans accept it. Fans appreciate that. You know what I mean? And that's what we're looking for after Asgard. But you tend to find Asgard takes the ball and he'll spray a nice pass and that's about it. But never see him driving in and taking one for the team, like taking a hard tackle just because he's tried to make something happen. You know what I mean? I'm not saying all players need to do that, because if you're good enough, nobody will get near you. But the work rate that Mickey Moore puts in a game doesn't always score, Ox. But I'd rather have like a Mickey Moore on the team driving at a defence than the way Asgard's playing now. Even though probably overall.
So we all agree that Asgard's a miss then, yeah?
Yeah.
Mikey Moore, I think he falls into the Giga camp pot, and Bridge can come in after your good self, mate, because I think he was a slow burner, then he slowly got his place, and then he's made himself a sort of integral part of the team maybe the last 3 months.
I think in terms of in his early days, I think a lot of us were under the belief in watching him, and we've watched enough players come in through these doors to think, I'm a bit too young. That's what I personally thought at the start. I just thought he's a bit physical up here for him. In the early game, just wasn't clicking, mate. I think the best thing that happened to Mikey Moore, mate, was the managerial change. I think Danny Rowe seemed to have lit a fire under him, and we certainly got a different Mikey Moore the second half of the season than we did in the first. We found a position for him. He's added tracking back to his game, he chases, and this was never part of his game when we see him in the early days, and I don't think it was his part of his game in the few cameos he had doing for Tottenham. He's added, work rate, he's added a wee bit of dig to his game, and at times we've seen him, fire up and flare up, and especially in the Old Firm game, he came alive in them and showed a complete disrespect for them as well, which I like that beside him. I've never seen that either. I've never seen that fire. So he certainly had a great second half of the season, and I've said it before. If we can get him up the road again for another season for his development, it would help him as well. I agree. If we get him on a permanent, it'd be even better. But worst case scenario, get another year for him, because I think he loves it here. I think you can see it in his game. So for me, Mikey Moore is a hit, mate.
Aye, listen, I think we also forget he's 18. I know that's no.
Aye, your boy.
Aye. He's done really well, and he's got that streak in him that you need, I think. The boy. He can do better. Everybody can do better. He can learn when to pass the ball, Bridge, and he can learn when you keep it, but that comes with experience sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Mikey Moore, I would suggest now that Mikey Moore, from a going forward perspective, midfield upwards, I think he's a star man we've got now, because in general, now I know he's had a few poor possessions games, but in general, he's the engine. He's the engine that does it. You give him the ball and he just runs, and he's very clever, a very, very good player. And they always end up maybe 3 or 4 players going to go and get him. And that pulls players away from other players, and it opens it up a wee bit. But I think he's been an absolute sensation. I've asked on here a couple of times, I think, asking how much he would cost, how much would Rangers be able to pay to get him, if indeed they would be able to do it. But I think the last time I asked you, were talking about 10, 11 million pounds or something like that. More than that, okay. But I think when the fans that have watched him throughout the season would tell you that he's worth a lot more money than we think, because you just need to watch him playing sometimes. He's just brilliant. He's absolutely superb.
A question when we first seen him, he was only 17 at the time, GB, a question. Why did we sign him? I really did. I thought, I don't know, what have we done here? We brought a boy up with a big reputation, we put him under pressure. Does he look ready? He didn't, but fair play to him. Like the Chiga, as he's got a bit between his teeth in the second half of his season, he's thrived.
Hi, Ox. He came in with even his first interview. He came in with a bit of desire about him. He knew he was up here and he knew what he was getting himself into. And talking to Defoe and all that, he was excited about coming here. And at first, like you says, it didn't. It looked as though it was one of these signings again that we've just took somebody just to fill the squad. But no, since the new managers came in, Oxy's grasped his opportunity, and I think the manager's been smart enough to see the quality in him that he can be dangerous, Ox. And I can. It's mental. We brought up the subject, but Felwell was the driving force behind this signing, mate. It wasn't Russell Martin. So which is mental. You know what I mean?
I have to say, I listened to you earlier on saying these things, and there's a lot of sense in what you said about the situation between, shall we say, Russell Martin and Thelwell. Personally, I think they were twins, conjoined twins. I don't think any of the two of them were very good for Rangers, and I'm pleased that they're not there.
Well, this is the point, mate. I think this is the point. Harpo making here, Bridge. Yeah?
Harpo.
Right.
Nice one.
Right, because what they're saying is, right, we're going to finish. There's 3 men to go, I reckon. Majovsky, Chermiti and Gaspar, yeah? And that's pretty much it. And once we go day 3, we can maybe look back. And right, so we'll move on to Majovsky, right? And we'll keep it brief, yeah? I think we're honest, mate. It's not really worked out for him. Yeah, he's had moments, he's had his game when he got the hat trick at Kilmarnock, etc. But I think with a piece, I think he's a bit of a flop so far. He maybe arguably not the minutes he'd hoped for, but he's not looked great. And I don't think our manager at the moment trusts him. GB, then Port.
Yep, Ox, very hot and cold. That's where his kind of career's went since he's left Aberdeen, Ox. I did think, like you said, after he scored the hat-trick, that was him. But unfortunately, he took no well then. And that's when he lost his place. And he's just not been able to get back in the team. And then again, when you sign another striker in January, it's clear the manager's wanting 2 big, tall, lanky boys up front, being a menace, Ox. And I'm not saying Majovsky's tiny, but I just think he's looking for something different, and I just don't think he fits into the plans. But stranger things have happened, Docs. Majovsky's had a word with the manager before, and then the next minute he got a start and he got a hat-trick. So I think that's one to watch this space kind of thing. I'm still 50-50 with it.
Very generous. Port Bear.
I think when we signed Majovsky, mate, I think we thought, I believe this as well, I think we thought we were signing guaranteed goals because they prove in the Scottish League. People would argue, maybe the level below what we're sort of aspiring to, but I think it made a lot of sense at the time because we thought, right, guys played for Aberdeen, he scored goals, and arguably a poorer team Rangers are, so surely when Rangers create the amount of chances we create and he's on the end of them, then he should get his fair amount of goals. And I agree with you in terms of he's probably not the games he wanted. But in the games we've seen him, we have seen him scoring goals. He's definitely a fox in the box. I do still think if he got the chances to him, and that's something we've had, the creativity side of the game, mate, and delivery. We've not fed our strikers, but arguably some of the service previous strikers have got it at Rangers. But I think in terms of where he is in the team now, he's probably third choice. He's got to be a miss, mate. For me, he's got to be a miss because we did expect better.
Aye. I've got to do as a miss. The final man, the man with a big decision. Bridgman.
Well, I like Majovsky. I'm sorry to say he hasn't fired, but I still think he's a good player, and he's been dropped a few times, and he's not had shall we say, a really full run in our team to let him be able to show. The trouble is we've got some really good players on our team, and when you've got 2 up the front and now, They cause mayhem everywhere they go. If you could find a wee slot for Miofsky just behind them, then you would do well, or anyone for that matter, but they would do well. Someone that's a proven goal scorer could pick the ball up and maybe slot it home. But I don't think we're ever going to find that. Certainly not for the next 2 years. I think we're going to be building a team around the centre halves and the two big fellas up front, if we've still got them come the next season. That's the way I think it. I'm sorry for Miofsky. He may not make it, but it would be a good subby to come on. Put it that way.
I understand there's a strong possibility he could leave the club in the summer, mate. Strong possibility. Right, we're on to Chermity. Port Bear.
Hey, right. So obviously, much criticised in the early part of his career at Rangers, including by myself. So, and I think I'm going to be honest. I think the transfer fee didn't help him at all. But that's not his fault. That is not his fault. What we paid for him. He's got 9 goals. 8 of them have came against Celtic and Hearts. 1 against Kilmarnock. Has he scored enough for a Rangers number 9? No, definitely not. But the second half of the season and the quality of some of his finishing we've seen has got us all probably a bit more excited than we were in the early part. So I'm going to say he's been a hit because of his age, and I think there's definitely development there, definitely development. But my other criticism, and I'm just going to throw this in here, is I don't think Ryan Nadiri is the right foil for him, mate, because of what I've watched over the last few weeks is 2 guys that are making the same runs, 2 guys that want to make the same sort of. I mean, they're 2 of my big tall guys are target men. It's your old-fashioned target men. The only difference is they've probably got a better touch on a target man. The 2 of them, and a lot. I just don't think you play 2 together, mate. Unfortunately, I don't think you play 2 together. I think they'd be better like Jermitia or something like Defoe, or Nadiri and something like Defoe. I think they need a fox in the box still. That guy's going to get you, 25 plus a season. Because I really don't think that's what Jermitia and Nadiri's game is, mate. I don't think they'll get you 25 goals a season. I think they'll get between 15 and 20. But really contribute to the team, because they do a hell of a lot of running outside the penalty box, and that's what I've noticed. There's a lot of times Nadiri's been at halfway line, mate, and then you turn running and Chermiti's at his shoulder on the halfway line. The 2 of them are making the same. The 2 of them are dropping at the same time. One's got to stay, and one's got to come. One's got to stay in the focal point, and there's a lot of times them 2 are dropping in, and that's where a lot of times we're getting the ball straight back to us because there's nobody to hit it up front. We're trying to release. So I'm going to say he's a hit, mate, but again, he needs a correct partner with him, and I think we'll get the best out of Chermiti that way.
TB.
I'm going to go against it. It showed moments, but I think there's other moments where he's a kind of I'll turn up every 2 games kind of guy. I think we need more consistency in that. Don't know if that will come with time, but again, he's been one. It's been touted that there's people interested in it. I think if we could recycle our money and let them go and hunt for somebody else, then I would see him at the door. So he's a miss for me.
I've got a slightly different point of view on it, mate. I think he was a miss up to he fell out the ball against St Mum, and he's no looked back since then. Yeah, I think. Oh no,
well said, that man. Well said.
Up to the game, I think I'm positive it was St Mum between Christmas and New Year. I think that was it. He fell out the ball, the next game was away to them, and his season came alive. He scored 4 goals against them, as we know. And he scored the goals against Hearts. His record against the other teams is appalling, and it's going to improve. But this part of the season, since we played them at their place, I think he's been a hit. Up until that moment, that double at Parkhead, he'd been one of the biggest flops we'd ever had. So he's an enigma, Bridgeman.
Yeah, sometimes it happens. It stutters, it starts, and he fires in. And of course, he played some great games against us when he was with Aberdeen. But I still feel, well, since he came to Rangers, he's not shown the form that I want him to show, what I was expecting for him to show. I don't know what kind of contract he's got, my finance-wise, but I think he's a couple of years anyway. So we'll get the best for him if we can. And if what you're saying is right, Oxtail, then he'll be away at the end of the season if that's the case. And good luck to him. I've no grudges to bear with the guy, none at all. He's a trier for me. He's a trier. He's just trying to fit into that team, and that team can be a mess at sometimes during the game. He doesn't seem to have the poise in his game now. Apology. We moved on to, for God's sake. I'm still in my Oscar. For God's sake.
That's all right, mate. You carry on with Chimity now.
No, Chimity for me is fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. He's a big blundering boy. He gets some lovely touches. And when he runs through with the ball, everybody's up because they think it's going to happen. But obviously, he's not the greatest finisher in the world, but some of his finishes have been outstanding. World class. Absolutely world class. The 2 goals he scored against them at Ibrox. And I'll tell you now, if we had a decent television company in Scotland, they'd be making a fortune out of that. That was 2 absolutely wonderful goals, and what an arena to do it in as well. It's just fabulous, and I just don't understand why we're worried about him. But we can see it sometimes. He bumbles the ball, and the big Dessers when we had him in the player, he did the same. But I think Chermiti's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. I don't know how much he's worth now, but if they get it, I think our club will take whatever they can get, over 20 to 25 million pound for him. I don't know if he's worth that. I'm not even thought about it. But if our club think he's worth 25 and somebody comes in with the offer, they'll take it. But I think he's absolutely sky high. What a brilliant player.
Bizarre, I think he's an asset now, financial asset that I agree with GB up at times, mate. You wouldn't have gave 10 bob for him, but I think he's, because of what he's done, it's mental. It's mental. The moments are just unbelievable. We thought the header against Hearts was decent, and then he manages to do something that is just unbelievable. I don't think people, and I'll go to Port with this, I don't think people realise how difficult that is at any level to do that, what he's done.
No, and arguably, it's mental because people just love his overhead kick, don't they? They just, it's sublime. We've seen, it's almost like, and I'm not putting in the same bracket as this, right? But it's almost, I remember Ronaldo scored one against Juventus for Real Madrid, and he's up there, mate. He's up there with the gods, and bang, and that was in terms of quality of finish, same level, mate, for me. It doesn't matter what level you're playing at. And we spoke about Asgard's goal there on the free kick. No matter what league you played in, that if that hits the net, mate, if that's Messi and Ronaldo, scoring that, it's talked about all over the world, and like that would have been, see if Rangers went on to win that game, that goal would have been in folklore. He would, if that was a winning goal, that would have been folklore. But I liked his second finish better. I just thought that we got that after the defender hooked it around him, and then we outside his foot, caressed it by a goalkeeper. I actually like the second one better because I think it's a harder finish. The way he got the ball back and put it in for his second. I just think I love the second one personally. But I think he's one of these guys, not a great goal scorer, but a scorer of great goals, and that's where I think he's probably because of what he contributes outside the box, Oxford. I think he's like a 15 maybe goal man a season because the amount of work he's expected to do up front. As I said, he's a pass for me, it's a hit for me.
Aye. We'll take the last man, then we'll go right back to your good self, Port Gassimer.
Again, early part of his career at Rangers, I thought, wow. And so did the rest of Europe, by the way, because Monaco came in from, there's a few other clubs looking, and they were talking in the 10 million region mark. It was quoted around about the Christmas time. But I think he went on to get a wee bit, I don't know, mate, a wee bit of ego come into his game, maybe, because when his first part of the season, he was getting at defenders, getting by them, and ball was delivered. Or a shot was, he was scoring goals. But as the second half seemed to have crept in, he's got this awful habit, mate, and it's frustrating the life out of me. Chopping back and wanting to beat the defender again, and then 9 times out of 10 he's losing the ball. So that early beating the defender and whipping it in, getting in as soon as he's beat the defender, worked. And in my opinion, he's better on the left foot than so he can cut in because he can go both ways as well. But the second half of the season, mate, this in his game, wanting to chop back and beat defenders over and over again. And then the time he's done that, the whole defence is reset and the chances are gone. There's no room in it in there because the way our league floods the box. I don't know. I'm going to give him pass marks, mate, but just because he's early part of his Rangers career. Because if he gets back to that, beating the defender and putting the ball in, or taking that defender on, committing him and scoring, then we know we've got a playability there. So I'm going to say a hit just.
Sorry, GB.
I'll make it simple. I think he's a miss. We can't have this inconsistency. This is what's probably killing us now. If we had consistency where our attackers constantly taking on guys and doing something. I agree with Port. He has scored some good goals for us, but he's like Chimiti again. It's all right only turning up in 1 in every 5 games. When you're trying to win a title, you need to at least one to be scoring, and then the other one drops out and one to come in and contribute. And we've got too many doing the exact same thing now, no contributing. So for me, it's a miss.
Well, listen, I think you split him as well. You take him the first few weeks of the season, he's arguably our best player and everybody's raving about him. I don't know what the catalyst was, change of manager or whatever. Danny Rowe trying to play him there on the right. I think the perception is he looks as if he's got a bad attitude sometimes when he's on the park. And that, I mean, the way, the scowl on his face, particularly when he seems to be playing on the right. But overall, I'm with GB. I think he's a miss. Started off as a hit. And it's been backwards that far. He's not even getting a maybe, GB. He's a miss.
Well, he's starting to be on the bench, and then 1 minute he's getting a start, and then he's not keeping his position. Awful game against Livingston as well, even though he did get the red card for us. But apart from that, that is probably a game where you're wanting your wingers to rip it up. You know what I mean? And then wasn't deadly enough, mate. So again, we can't care. We're at a time where we're pushing for a title, and we'll be pushing for a title next season. We can't carry guys. We can't have them turning up, like I says, every now and then. We need, like I says, boys to come in and hopefully, again, if I'm getting a contributing factor like, say, Mikey Moore, with his work rate and trying to change a game, then I'm all for that. But boys that are just running into dead corners all the time, I don't think they're any use to our team.
Last word, briefly, before we go to the tune, Port Bear.
He's already away to the tune.
He's away, isn't he?
He's away getting his... He's getting his kettle on.
With permission for the teacher. He's away. He's dogging it.
If you press that mute button off him now, you'll hear that kettle boiling.
Did you see dog in there?
Right, get yourself in mute. We're going to have a tune.
From the first time I heard the crowd sing, my father took my hand, showed me everything. We walked together to the gate so wide, in the blue sea of Ibrox with pride in our stride. He said, son, this is more than just a game. It's the history, the passion, it's the Rangers name. With each step we took, I felt it grow. The love for the blue, the team we know. And when the lights shine down and the banners fly, with our scarves held high, reaching to the sky, it's a bond that's stronger than any dream. father and son in a Rangers team. And when the lights shine down and the banners fly, with our scarves held high, reaching to the sky, it's a bond that's stronger than any dream. Father and son in a Rangers team. Oh, we stand together, side by side, in the heart of Ibrox, where legends ride. From father to son, the love runs deep. In the blue sea of Ibrox, our hearts will keep. Oh, Rangers will follow through every game, through the highs and the lows. We'll chant your name. In the blue sea of Ibrox, forever will be. A father's dream passed down to me. He told me stories of battles won, of the heroes in blue, of what they'd done. McCoist and Law dropped the names he cheered. Now I sing them loud year after year. And when we scored, he lifted me high. In that moment, I felt I could touch the sky. Now I'm older, but the feeling stays. I'll carry it forward for all my days. And when the lights shine down and the banners fly, with our scarves held high, reaching to the sky, it's a bond that's stronger than any dream. Father and son in a Rangers team. Oh, we stand together, side by side, in the heart of Ibrox, where legends ride. From father to son, the love runs deep. In the blue sea of Ibrox, our hearts will keep. Oh, Rangers will follow through every game, through the highs and the lows. We'll chant your name. In the blue sea of Ibrox, forever will be. A father's dream passed down to me. Now it's my turn to hold his hand, take him to Ibrox, help him understand the roar of the crowd, the pride that we share. In the blue sea of Rangers everywhere. Oh, 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 we stand together, side by side, in the heart of Ibrox, where legends ride. From father to son, the love runs deep. In the blue sea of Ibrox, our hearts will keep. Oh, Rangers will follow through every game, through the highs and the lows. We'll chant your name. In the blue sea of Ibrox, forever will be. A father's dream passed down to me. In the blue sea of Ibrox, we will always stand. Father and son, hand in hand.
Just what the Rangers really mean to me. These last few years I've been afraid that we might drift away. So I've been telling old stories and singing songs, made me think about where we come from. That's the reason why I feel so very proud today. Let me tell you that I love you, and I think about you all the time. Irish Stadium calls me, and now I'm coming home. To think of life without the Rangers, you know that it would make me more sad. Glasgow Rangers is everything I've ever had. We won 9 in a row, and I'm still dreaming of Brian Landrum, Trevor Stephen, Marvin Andrews, Seth. Keep believing, Davy Cooper on the wing. We remember Gaza with great affection, the day the helicopter changed direction. Jimmy Baxter, he was pure perfection. Super Ali scores again. Well, let me tell you that I love you, and I think about you all the time. Ibrox Stadium's cozy, and now I'm coming home. To think of life without the Rangers, you know that it would make me more sad. Glasgow Rangers is everything I've ever had. To think of life without the Rangers, you know that it would make me more sad. Glasgow Rangers is everything I've ever had.
Well, I took a trip to Eyebrows, my favorite team for to cheer, where they were playing the Glasgow Celtic.